into today's session on predictors for agile marketing success and why some organizations do better at adopting marketing agility than others. And today we've got Aniela Larson joining us. So I'm Emily Ruffle, propositions lead at the consortium, a not-for-profit professional body for business agility. So this session is in partnership with AgileSherpas, and we want to create and share the opportunity for you guys to learn around our thought leaders, more agile research, case studies and resources, and we want to provide you tools that can help you compete in today's uncertain world. So hopefully we will come away with learning lots from Aniela. A little bit of housekeeping before we start. This session is being recorded, so please keep yourselves on mute while Aniela's talking. We will be using the chat, so feel free to use it, pop any questions, where are you from, and we will come around to answering them as we go along. And if we have all finished joining and we're all set, I would love to hand over to Aniela. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Emily. I want to welcome you all to today's talk on predictors for agile marketing success. Why some organizations do better at adopting marketing agility than others. Before we delve into the material, I'm going to introduce myself. So my name is Aniela Larson. I work for AgileSherpas as an Agile trainer, coach, and consultant. AgileSherpas are the world's leading organization in Agile marketing, training, and coaching, and translate the successful pieces of Agile from software development into marketing by blending marketing expertise with Agile know-how. My own background is well suited to working in this space. I hold one master's degree in change management and another in international marketing. I have over 15 years experience working across predominantly telecom and financial services industries, first as a digital marketer and second in Agile, growing and scaling adoption in marketing teams. So today's material will center around three specific areas. The first is a snapshot of what Agile marketing teams tend to look like in real life. Secondly, what are some of the key predictors of success in adopting marketing agility? And thirdly, ways we can boost our marketing agility sustainability. The presentation will be pulling insights from both my experience in the field, along with results from this year's State of Agile Marketing report. It is the 5th year in a row that we've run it, and we have some really interesting learnings as we see agility in marketing teams evolve over time. As this presentation goes on, as Emily mentioned, feel free to leave questions in the chat, and I believe when we get to the end, I'll answer them towards the end of the session. So just a really quick note at demographics. The results from the State of Agile Marketing report that you will see are skewed predominantly towards North America. So they don't give the whole picture around the globe, but they give a decent indication. Respondents are distributed across experience levels and also across B2B and B2C categories of organizations. So a little bit of an icebreaker. We can launch a poll right now. So how many times do you think I will say Agile in the next 30 minutes? I like the way that the polls are coming in. You may have gotten a sample. All right, everybody responded. I think you'll see it's a lot. and I can let you know exactly how many towards the end. Okay, and so then we can go towards the next poll, and this one's a bit more serious. It's how would you rank your baseline knowledge about marketing? All right, 11 out of 11 responded, basic, intermediate, and advanced. So great, we have a really, really good mix here. I think we can close that one. Emily, did I stop sharing or did I just close my own instance?
I think it should be stopped sharing.
Okay, because
Can you still see?
I took mine away.
No, I think it's finished.
Okay, great. So the poll was helpful for me engaging where you are with respect to your knowledge on marketing, but I'm also curious what comes to mind when you think of marketing. So if you could just throw your thoughts into the chat, we'll get a little bit of some themes going. Reducing cost of selling, lead gen, customer awareness, communication. All of that is true. Understanding value. Marketing has changed. We no longer live in the world of just inbound and outbound marketing. There are more channels than we know what to do with, and especially as marketers than we know what to do with. And these channels keep popping up as our media consumption patterns shift. So here's a fantastic cartoon by Tom Fishburne, the Marketoonist. Marketing is a challenging ecosystem to operate in, and many of the things that teams struggle with just outside of marketing are exacerbated in the marketing context. So in this particular cartoon, chances of changing priorities as though it was weather. When the CMO goes to the conference, you know you're going to get stuff to do. And this is really just one of the big and real challenges faced by marketers day to day. So pulled back and looked at in a different way, one of the top challenges marketers face is more demand for their skills than there is time in the day. They also have different customers, lots of different stakeholders. There's a ton of variability in the type of work they do. You can have an event that takes 80 plus days to put together, and you can have a social media post that takes 2 hours. Put on top of that, there's oftentimes we seek perfection, which can increase revisions and time to market. So this leads us to saying that there has to be a better way. And there is. So enter agility. And whatever the reason to go agile or whose ever idea it is, we see from the State of Agile Marketing report that there are a lot of us going this route. So 43% of teams use at least some part of agile marketing approaches to managing their work, compared to 42% in traditional and 15% ad hoc. We also see a strong interest in implementing agile marketing for those teams who are not currently agile. Half of marketers who aren't using agile marketing plan to implement it. And we see that for those who are not currently agile, but intending on becoming so, 91% say the goal timeline by which they want to have agile marketing implemented is between 6 months to a year. So that's aggressive. We know that it's happening. We know that people are interested. It's a movement. And so agile marketing is popular. That's great. But what do we know about how it's actually working? We know agile marketing is working when the teams adopt it. So this is a busy slide, and I will give you a few minutes to kind of scan. But we are clearly able to see they're better able to manage changing priorities. They are more productive with better morale, are able to prioritize more effectively, and go to market more quickly. In a few more seconds. Compared to those with a traditional or ad hoc approach, agile marketing teams are also more satisfied. They're happier with how their marketing department manages their work. They are confident they can handle fast-paced digital work. They feel empowered to push back on unplanned work and are less challenged with the quality or overall effectiveness of their work. And lastly, they're able to clearly relate how they'll be able to contribute to the organization's long-term success. And there's so much value in that, as many, if not most of us, are purpose-driven individuals. I know there's nothing more rewarding for me to be able to know that the work that I've done has had some meaning or value. And I feel like I'm not alone in that. And so what else does a good Agile marketing team look like? So we know what they're doing and we know how they're performing. Well, it turns out that successful Agile marketing teams also in many ways look like other Agile teams. They are also cross-functional, organizing around a shared objective. They are also headed up by strong servant leadership. Agile marketing teams are customer-centric, outcome-oriented with a continuous improvement mindset. They are able to plan more frequently, prioritize ruthlessly, and are able to respond to changes rapidly. So, what's different? There are a few points of departure from what you would see in traditional IT Agile when we look at Agile marketing. So in Agile marketing teams, we see a predominant adoption of Scrumban or hybrid approaches. So here, what factors led you towards using hybrid approaches? Most teams actually start Scrum, and that's because the rigidity and rigid nature of the Scrum framework helps tear us away from this sequential waterfall traditional way of working. But Scrum can be hard for marketing teams, and this is due to the fixed scope and time boxes. Most marketing teams want to pivot prioritization faster than Scrum will allow for. Sometimes this is a lack of maturity, very reactive and not very strategic. But sometimes it's the actual nature of the work. Scrum is also hard to do when there's a lot of cross dependencies. So other groups like legal, digital delivery, compliance, that's something that marketing teams won't be able to get away from either. And that's just, the nature of the beast. We also see, in terms of things that are different, that adherence to Scrum events and other practices differs among Agile marketing teams. So I want you to take a look at this one and throw it into the chat. Is there anything surprising about what you see here? Oh, yeah, I agree. Only 41% doing retros. Yes. Only 50% doing daily stand-up. Yeah. Kanban board is lower than you'd expect. Absolutely. So it's interesting. A lot of this can be chalked up to the fact that teams employ their hybrid model and kind of pick and choose what they find valuable. But it also tells me that perhaps it has something to do with Agile maturity as well. So kind of looking a bit deeper, I think this slide alone, I could probably talk about for a little bit. But yeah, the one 41% of just doing retros for me was huge. So we've looked at the predictors, or we've looked at what Agile marketing teams look like in practice. So then what are some predictors of success in Agile marketing adoption? For Agile marketing teams who are running Agile smoothly with great impacts, reaping great benefits, what is setting them apart? So here's another cartoon by Tim Fishburne. We didn't have a strategy. We kept changing our minds and we failed repeatedly. Let's tell management we were being agile. It's clearly not a great predictor of success. Those of you who are familiar with Agile will see that in many ways, the predictors of Agile marketing success aren't all that different to predictors of success in Agile otherwise. And so I call this section Leadership, Training, and Friends. Can it really be so simple that predictors of success it boils down to these three things? But by and large, what I've seen in the field and cross-referenced with the State of Agile Marketing Report, it echoes that the predictors of success actually are narrowed down to these three things. When you have them, you're well on your way to successfully adopting Agile. If you have this and a few more, you can be well on your way to transforming to Agile. If you don't have them, you're facing headwinds. Let's take a closer look. When looking at the State of Agile Marketing Report, again, the greatest barrier to implementing Agile is a lack of training or knowledge about Agile approaches, with 58% of marketers listing it as a barrier. Interest in Agile is strong among those using other approaches, but marketers need training. What's really interesting to me about this slide is that lack of support from management or executives falls relatively low. Whether that's because the people who indicated the other responses were already in a position of leadership or already had leadership support. My time working with clients actually shows me that lack of management or support from executives is maybe one of the biggest barriers and one of the best predictors of success for adopting marketing agility. So leadership is big, but maybe not exactly like this guy. Having strong leadership support is critical in any transformation, and really Agile is no different here. While you can have Agile adoption at the team level without really bringing leadership on board, to get to scale and to reap the real benefits of agility, it helps to have friends in high places. So strong leadership support also holds the key to buffering against headwinds as they come up, whether in the form of unlocking access, i.e. budget to training, continuous learning about agility, or by providing, and this one I think is really fun, just enough support to keep the organization interested in working with you. I think leadership is a necessity. So leadership is big, but so is training and having tools to use. And not just friends in high places, but drivers. I would agree with that as well. Leadership is a strong predictor of success, but training and having the right access to tools and training is also very important. So when questioned about what was used in adopting Agile marketing and what was valuable, so what was used and what was valuable, knowledge and training consistently ranked high, as did tools. What this shows us is that while we acknowledge how helpful training and tools can be, for some reason, we're not taking full advantage of them. 77% of those who used Agile certification courses said they were valuable, but only 30% used them. 67% of those who used train the trainer programs said they were valuable, but only 30% have used them. And lastly, 80% of those who implemented an Agile project management tool said it was valuable, but only 49% of Agile marketers used it. What we see among the changes Agile marketing teams are making to help sustain the adoption of Agile, the value of onboarding programs, senior leadership coaching and training, and ongoing training for teams, relays just how important training and Agile knowledge really is in predicting success for Agile marketing teams. We also see that standardized project management tools are a big one. But from what I see in the field, and maybe this is something that you all have experienced as well, it's also a potential pitfall. It can give the impression that teams are much more agile when they're using a tool such as Jira or Monday.com, just any kind of Kanban board, than they really are. They might be falling into the idea of doing Agile theater. A fool with a tool is still a fool. Thank you, Matthew. Yes. So other changes marketing teams have put in place include experimenting with marketing planning cycles and getting friends. So this is the one that I call getting friends, but it's aligning Agile ways of working with other parts in the organization. And it brings us to the next predictor. I think this one's interesting, this statistic. 31% of Agile marketers have a 100% Agile marketing department. So to be fully Agile in your marketing department, only 31% of us are that. Of those, 45% report they have implemented Agile very successfully, compared to 16% of their partially Agile peers. So in other words, when marketing goes fully Agile, departments enjoy more success than their peers who use Agile just in pockets of their organization. Teams find it easier to connect sprint goals to corporate strategy and objectives. They can handle fast-paced digital marketing work better. It is clear to them how marketing will be able to contribute to the organization's long-term success. They are confident marketing can take advantage of emerging opportunities. They are satisfied with the way their marketing department currently manages its work, and they are confident they will be able to collaborate with their team, regardless if they're co-located, distributed, or a combination of the two. So if you want to set yourself up for Agile marketing success, do it with friends. In many ways, from what we've seen in the past slides here, optimizing your predictors of success are also going to be what helps you boost your Agile marketing sustainability. And so the ways to boost Agile marketing sustainability are find Agile allies. So those are your leadership support and your friends. Take advantage of tools and training, rally around common objectives and measure impact, and give yourself time. So from what we've just looked at, we know that the teams who report the most success are the ones with strong leadership support and where there are multiple marketing teams that are Agile at the same time. We also know that we amplify our success even more when other parts of the organization are Agile. For marketing teams specifically, legal, regulatory, and compliance are often a very big bottleneck. Getting these dependencies working in an Agile manner and being your Agile allies can really help to sustain that agility. 74% of Agile marketers think it would be easier to work with other departments if they followed an Agile methodology. So how might you find your Agile allies? So these might be an existing team, and I like to say, hint, look to what your IT teams are doing, but also look for other thought leaders who are interested in challenging the status quo. Having an Agile team working and demonstrating value is also a really great way to nurture your Agile ally pipeline, because as marketers, we are uniquely positioned in the organization to share our ways of working with various stakeholders by exposing them to our events and practices. So again, what we saw in the previous section, one of the biggest barriers is actually knowledge or training. Whether because you don't know who to go for help, and so shameless plug, AgileSherpas can help, or whether it's because you don't have time for it among all of the other things that we're juggling, getting trained and building up that Agile acumen is immensely helpful to boost Agile marketing abilities. The state of Agile marketing here shows us that among challenges that teams experience as a result of using Agile approaches is that people revert to old or non-Agile approaches. That's the number one challenge. When that happens, it's likely because we haven't gone deep enough with our knowledge or training on agility. So continue training, and that Agile muscle will grow and provide the ability to navigate any situation. So Matthew in chat, training the problem is training content based on marketing and communication content. SW, not sure what SW means. Is it software? Software. Yeah. Rally around common objectives and measure impact. So we know it's less difficult to adopt agility in one team than it is to transform a whole organization to Agile. That's fact, right? Among Agile allies and training, simply piloting the approach with 1 to 3 teams, measuring and sharing that impact with others can make a fantastic difference in boosting your agile marketing sustainability. People pay attention to results. And in this famous quote by Peter Drucker, you can't manage what you don't measure. So when surveyed how agile marketing teams are measuring the impact of their change, we see an overwhelming amount say they are more effective, they're more efficient, and they're more engaged. Only 9% don't measure their agile marketing results. So what kind of impact are we talking about? When we measure impact of the many changes we make when we adopt agility, in marketing, again, it's no different. We can show that there is increased alignment, visibility, and transparency into the work the teams are doing. We can show that we're more responsive and customer-centric. We're seeking to optimize outcomes and bearing fruit related to increased business value and innovation. So that's a big one. Not only are we more customer-centric, but we're also driving business value because customers really want to hear what we're saying. We can show an increase in execution quality by limiting our context switching. We can reflect there's increased speed to market and increased frequency in releasing valuable work. Employees, again, are happier, more engaged. And lastly, we benefit from showing decreases in waste and delays. So armed with the right driver initiative and standing up an agile team doesn't necessarily need to take a lot of time, but to get to the great benefit of sustaining agility, it can take a lot of time. When you reach the place of strong performing teams, and you're likely seeing the software, I read software in the chat. When you're seeing the transformation take hold, it's likely because you've got agile allies, you have leadership support, you have good training and access to tools, and you've been able to measure your impact. So trust in the process and take your time. So here brings us to the last slide in this talk. And I wanted to hear from you, what was the most interesting or unexpected thing you learned today? Perhaps there wasn't anything new or unexpected, but if there was something that was a bit of like a aha, I'd like to hear it. Matthew, you're not incorrect that it's a generic slide. That's because what we see in marketing, agile marketing, in terms of the results and impact generally isn't all that different from other agile teams. And 41% doing retros, yeah, that's interesting. Fragmented nature of approaches. Mm-hmm. All right. 88% thinking a tool is the most important thing in achieving agile. I'm not going to disagree with you. There is, I think, a lot there that points when I look at the state of agile marketing and I look at kind of the additional statistics that, you'll get access to the state of agile marketing report. I think you see some of the responses indicate lower agile maturity. And so little of what is learned is actually used. Good, Haley. Good. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them now. You're also free to reach out to me at aniela.larson@AgileSherpas.com if you wanted to reach out afterwards.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Aniela. That was brilliant. And some really interesting statistics there. I think we've all got a little bit to learn and think about how we might adapt and add some more agile into our marketing. If you've got any questions for Aniela, please pop them in the chat. I will shortly be sharing the feedback survey. So that would be great if you could complete. Before we round up and say our thank yous. Just want to say keep an eye out for the next session that we have with AgileSherpas, and that will be with Elizabeth Venter on sustainable agility, achieving lasting agility, not chaos. So if you want to continue the agile marketing theme, Elizabeth will be speaking next Wednesday. So feel free to join Elizabeth then. If there aren't any questions for Aniela, I'd like to say a huge thank you for your time. And thank you for joining us, because I know in Vancouver it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, sorry, 8 o'clock. So we hope you found this session helpful and you've taken some learnings away from it or reflections. And yeah, thank you, Aniela.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was very good. Thank you.
Thank you.